The day I found out my son had sold my late wife's car started like any other, quiet, heavy, and full of things I was still trying to outrun. I was in the garage that morning, standing in front of the car I hadn't driven in over 2 years. A 1967 Mustang Fastback, cherry red, polished so often it still caught the light like it was brand new. It had been Alina's pride and joy. My wife had saved for 7 years to buy it, not because she needed it, but because it made her feel alive. "Promise me one thing," she'd said from her hospital bed, her voice thin but stubborn. "Don't let anyone sell her." I'd squeezed her hand. "Never." After Alina passed, I couldn't bring myself to drive it. I just kept it clean, sat inside sometimes, let the leather and faint scent of her perfume carry me back to better days. That morning I reached for the cover and froze. The garage was empty. At first I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. I blinked, looked around, checked the driveway. Nothing. I rushed inside. "Daniel," I called. My son appeared from the kitchen, dressed sharper than usual. New shoes, designer watch. He looked excited. "Morning, Dad. Where's the Mustang?" He didn't hesitate. That should have been my first warning. "Oh, that, I sold it." The words hit harder than any punch. "You did what?" He sighed like I'd asked something unreasonable. "Dad, you never drive it, it just sits there. And Mia and I, well, we needed the money." "Needed?" My voice shook. "Needed for what?" He exchanged a glance toward the hallway. His wife, Mia, stepped out, scrolling through her phone. "For our anniversary trip," she said casually. "Dubai isn't cheap." Dubai? They sold Alina's car, her dream, to fly first class to Dubai. "You had no right," I said, the room tilting. "That car was your mother." "It was in your name," Daniel replied quickly, "and I'm your only heir. I figured it would all be mine eventually anyway." Eventually? Not while I was still breathing. "How much?" I asked quietly. 40,000. I stared at him. That car was worth at least triple. "Who did you sell it to?" "A classic dealership downtown. They were in a rush, said they had a buyer lined up." My chest burned. "You let it go for 40. Daniel shrugged. "It's done, Dad, we leave tomorrow." He walked away like he'd just sold an old lawn mower. I stood there long after they left the room. Then I grabbed my keys. The dealership was called Silverline Classics, chrome signage, floor-to-ceiling glass. Inside, polished machines sat like museum pieces. I walked in, pulse pounding. A tall man in his early 50s approached me, salt and pepper hair, sharp eyes. "Can I help you? My son sold you a red '67 Mustang yesterday." Recognition flickered across his face. "You're Mr. Turner." It wasn't a question. "Yes." He studied me for a long moment. "I was hoping you'd come." I stiffened. "Why?" "Because something didn't sit right." He motioned toward his office. I followed. Once seated, he folded his hands. "When your son came in, he was in a hurry, said you were sick, needed quick cash. He pushed for speed." I clenched my jaw. "I'm not sick." I gathered that. He slid a folder across the desk. "Do you know what this car is worth?" "More than 40. A lot more." He opened the folder. Auction records, valuation reports. "Based on condition, 125, minimum." My stomach dropped. "Then why did you buy it for 40? He didn't look proud. "Because he was willing to sell it for that." Silence stretched between us. "I can reverse the sale," he said finally. I blinked. "What?" "I haven't processed the title transfer yet. Legally, it's still pending, but I need to know something first." "What? Did you authorize this?" "No." His jaw tightened. "Then it's fraud." The word felt heavy, ugly. "He's my son," I said quietly. "And that," the dealer replied gently, "is exactly why I called." I stared at the polished desk, Alina's laugh echoing in my memory. "What happens if we reverse it?" "You pay back the 40. That money's gone, they're flying out tomorrow." He leaned back. "Then maybe they shouldn't be." I drove home with a storm inside me. Daniel and Mia were in the living room, suitcases open. Daniel looked up. Everything okay? No. They froze. The sale isn't final. His face drained of color. What do you mean? I mean I never authorized it. Mia stood. We already paid for flights. Non-refundable, Daniel added quickly. I held his gaze. So was your mother's life. The room went silent. You stole from me, I continued. You lied to a dealer, and you disrespected your mother's memory. Daniel's voice rose. It's just a car. It was never just a car. Mia crossed her arms. Are you seriously ruining our anniversary over a piece of metal? Yes. Daniel ran a hand through his hair. Dad, don't do this. I already did. They didn't go to Dubai. The dealership voided the sale. The car came home. For 3 days, Daniel didn't speak to me. On the 4th, he knocked on my study door. I messed up, he said quietly. I didn't respond. He swallowed. I've been chasing appearances. Mia wanted something big. Everyone online traveling, living large. I wanted to keep up. And you thought your mother's memory was expendable. His eyes watered. No. Then why did you treat it like it was? He didn't have an answer. After a long silence, I spoke. You want to prove you're sorry? He nodded. You'll pay back the $40,000, every cent, to the dealership. It was wrong of them to take advantage too. And you'll work weekends at the garage restoring classic cars for free for a year. His head snapped up. Free? Yes, you'll learn what that car meant. He hesitated. Then he nodded. Okay. The dealership owner, Mr. Harris, agreed to take the money back in installments. And Daniel started showing up every Saturday. At first he hated it, grease under his nails, early mornings, no flashy vacations. But something shifted around month 3. He started asking questions, learning engine specs, talking to older collectors about the stories behind their cars. One evening, he walked into the garage where the Mustang sat. Dad, he said softly, running a hand over the hood, did Mom really save 7 years? Yes. He smiled faintly. She must have loved it. She did. He nodded. I get it now. A year later, Daniel finished his commitment. On the anniversary of Alina's passing, he handed me an envelope. Inside was a check. Last installment, he said. I looked at him, really looked at him. He seemed steadier, less flashy, more grounded. And Mia, I asked. He gave a small, rueful smile. Turns out she loved Dubai more than she loved me. They'd separated 6 months earlier. I'm sorry, I said. Don't be. If I hadn't messed up, I'd never have seen what mattered. We stood in the garage together. For the first time since Alina died, I handed him the keys. Take her for a drive. His eyes widened. You sure? Yes. He slid into the driver's seat carefully, reverently. The engine roared to life. As he pulled out of the driveway, I felt something inside me loosen. Trust doesn't come back in one moment, it rebuilds in small ones. When he returned, he stepped out smiling, really smiling. I'll never sell her, he said. I nodded. See that you don't. A month later, my phone rang. It was Mr. Harris. I thought you'd like to know, he said. Your son turned down an offer today. What offer? A collector offered him $150,000 for the Mustang, said he heard about the condition. I went still. And he said it's not for sale. I closed my eyes, breathing in relief. After we hung up, I walked to the garage. The Mustang gleamed under the lights. For the first time in 2 years, I slid into the driver's seat myself. I turned the key. The engine answered. And as I drove down the open road, wind rushing through the windows, I could almost hear Alina laughing beside me. Some lessons cost $40,000. Some cost trust. But sometimes, if you're lucky, they bring your family back before it's too late. And that, I realized, was worth far more than any trip to Dubai.